And now, Houston, Texas, make some noise because the time for talk is over. It's time to unleash the fury.
Yes, it's full.
Yeah,
Take a sip of that.
that's just orange. It ain't mine.
Diego's hammered. Delicious.
What's your drink out there, Diego?
Astronauts.
I got a joke for everybody.
Thank you for
Howler
asking
head.
questions, Diego. Howler head.
I'll have with
What do you
a
call
little bit of apple juice.
What do you call Black Man on the Moon?
I don't know.
Fucking astronaut, you're racist. What's wrong?
Wow.
Wow.
Golly, man.
And here we are.
Speaking of trying to
Astronaut.
stop racism, we have the MMA Panda Brothers here. We have Panda Bros. Hey, we brought in some actual gorillas today, fresh off of some amazing victories this weekend. Kyle Todrank
That's right. Thank you.
and James Ord.
You got it. Differentiate.
Hey guys, congratulations on amazing victories this weekend.
Appreciate that, right?
Yeah, man, it's you know, we love seeing people win. Like somebody has to win out of a fight every time. And everyone knows I'm extremely biased when it comes to war fighters. I'm a war affiliate, but taking out war and taking out just expectations, man, guys, y'all were fucking phenomenal. Like you came out the way the presence for first pro fight and second, right? So like two total.
Second.
Yeah, second.
Second.
Dude, you're fucking the way you guys like take the cage and like your presence coming in is awesome. You guys you've been had 40 fights already.
Super excited to make you.
Yeah.
What it is. They're like, I can't. Oh yeah. Get this win.
Two very, very different personas too in the cage.
Yeah.
Kyle leaves, and this scary monster named Cutthroat sits down in the cage and just stares straight ahead.
Yeah.
So, do you even see your opponent come in and like they all do the same thing? They all kind of motion at you.
Yeah.
And you like, nope.
Not today.
Dude, it's hilarious because Barry walks in. He's a nice guy. You know, he walks in. He's like, puts the fist up, and he goes, "All right." just goes to the cage. On the other hand, you're super relaxed, waving to people. You know, throwing up when they talk about is it Cleveland? You're from
Columbus.
Columbus.
Oh man.
Cleveland is that the same thing? Columbus,
Not at
Cleveland.
all.
They're not the same thing.
That's like saying Houston and Dallas are the same thing. Very different. Yeah.
Disrespect. You know what? I apologize.
Yeah, I'm missing it.
Dude, he's from Columbus. Next time you fight, wait just say fight it out of Cleveland. I'll walk out.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Hey, no, we got love it. Do you prefer to walk out first or walk out second? Or be in the cage and let your opponent come to you? Yeah, I think that's better. I think that's more fun.
Yeah. So many people want to walk out second.
I wanted to walk first. I think it's the nerves is like sitting in the cage, right? People don't want to be in there longer than they have to be. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
I like that.
How'd you guys get started in this? So first of all, I guess, how do you guys know each other? Because you two have become like the closest people I've seen in this. I don't see one without the other ever. So like, how'd you guys meet? How'd you guys become friends? Tell us about it.
We met at the Fargo National Championships our senior year. We were both committed to wrestle for Purdue University, and so when we ran into each other out there, like we'd instantly doubt each other up. We're like, let's chill. And that was like 10 years ago or something like that. So all throughout our time at Purdue, we were best friends. And then even on my trip from Evansville to Buffalo, and he was at Ohio State wrestling with them at the time, I would stop in on my drive to Buffalo and see him. So we just like maintained a really good friendship, and I've always wanted to do this, and I think he's always wanted to do it and be a world champion as well. So it was easy for us to just like link up and share goals and things like that.
See, Diego, I told you it wasn't Grinder.
So kind of tell us about like your collegiate wrestling careers. Collegiate wrestling, it can get confusing when you look and see like, well, someone started at this school, then you went to this school, and then there's like a gap, and then they come to another school. Obviously, like kind of explain to us like where you guys went. How'd you guys do in high school? Were you guys like extremely good high school wrestlers? Like
y'all went to college on scholarships?
Yeah.
Oh, full rides. No. So in wrestling, you only have 8.8 scholarships. So and that's split between 30 people. So it's full rides are not very common. Well, not common.
I had a nice little chunk, but it wasn't a.
And you went straight to Purdue?
Yeah, I went to Purdue at high school. I'm from Ohio, so I picked them over Ohio State, and then I was there for 3 years, and then I transferred back to Ohio State.
James is being modest too. He was on the biggest scholarship of our freshman class at Purdue, and he was in the finals of every single tournament his freshman year. He's being a little bit modest, but yeah, James was there to wreck shit at Purdue.
Now you've had a lot of expectations coming out of high school because you know tell us about your high school career, because I tried reading through like your accolades one time, talked to Fight Pass. And I literally was just like, fuck it, he's really good, dude. So, kind of give us a quick breakdown of that.
So I wrestled a lot of the USA Wrestling tournaments. I would say those are the only tournaments that you can become an All-American at, are the USA Wrestling events. So I was an All-American, I think, like 8 times or something like that, which is top 8 in the country, between folk style, freestyle, Greco. Greco was probably the style I was the best at. Freestyle was the style I had the most fun wrestling. So I had the opportunity to go out and wrestled some international events. I wrestled in Canada. I wrestled in London in 2012 as a junior. Man, I won a national title in Greco-Roman, so it was the shit.
I was waiting for that
shit.
Yeah. So before you ever even got to college, you had already had like worldwide experience. You know, tell us about like the confidence that kind of gives you stepping into these new arenas.
Oh man, it's anytime I step into like anywhere to compete, I'm always comparing it to somewhere I've already been or something I've already done. And I think that's like awesome because it helps me take the edge off for sure. I'm never really nervous. Like you said, I'm always calm, cool, and collected when I get in there. I'm having fun. This guy's telling me, talking shit to you before the fight. I'm laughing. This other dude is getting ready across the cage, and he's like getting ready for the best fight of his life, and I'm sitting there chuckling to myself. So yeah, it's nice.
You see UFC Fight Pass is doing those wrestling duels.
Yeah.
And they're doing like crazy venues like bar.
Yeah.
So
God.
Where's some places y'all would have liked to have wrestled?
Shoot, really outside anywhere, and in like I saw they did it in like a MLB stadium or something like that. One of them did, but
What year they did it in Times Square one year.
Yeah.
so they do that for Beat the Streets.
Beat the Streets. James wrestled for Beat the Streets Columbus.
Yeah, so Beat the Streets is like an organization that works with underprivileged kids, and it helps them kind of, exactly what it's called, right? Beat the Streets. They have it all over the United States and in most major cities, and I wrestled for the one in Columbus. So that event, the one that you're talking about in Times Square, they'll do like USA versus whatever country, right? And they normally do that as a fundraiser for all the clubs.
What was like for the both of you before you went to college? What was the biggest like crowd you may have wrestled in at that point? Because there's two extremes. As a wrestler, like when I was wrestling in high school, there was 7 people in the audience. 5 of them were coaches. So,
Yeah.
you either have the extreme of like there's nobody there, or somehow the entire fucking state found out you're wrestling. But like, tell me about the crowd you guys dealt with.
My story is pretty quick, so let's go first. It was the state championships for Indiana my senior year. I think there was like 16,500 people there. And then whenever we were all like, so I made it to the semifinals, and in my weight class there was 4 dudes ranked in the country. Brandon James was 8, Tommy Cash was 13, and Joe Lee was 16, and then I was an honorable mention. So whenever we were wrestling the semis, they did an announcement over the loudspeaker. They said, everyone turn your attention to the semis. We have 4 nationally ranked wrestlers competing. So literally the whole arena like kind of tuned in to watch that. I think that was like, before fighting, that was like the biggest moment in front of the most people that I had. So
It's awesome.
yeah, good experience.
Yeah.
Y'all are 2 pretty good wrestlers that made that transition into MMA. Who are some guys that you're surprised didn't like move over to MMA after their wrestling careers? That probably could have did pretty well.
There are a couple guys from Ohio State that I think are. I think at one point they were doing some fights, but I'm not sure if they still are. I think that they're still training, but yeah, I think that I'd like to see more of those guys. Just guys I grew up watching, because I think they would.
Is there anybody else that y'all wrestled with that made that transition to MMA?
Danny Sabatello, Griffin Perriott. So
Griffin Perriott said he wants to fight for Fury once his LFA contract's up. I was talking to him about it the other day.
Go, y'all got the number. Look, we want all the wrestlers.
yeah,
Everybody.
Perriott's
That DC called us about?
Um,
The Jesse or
no.
Hispanic guy? Not Austin.
No, not Austin. The the wrestler Brown Liquor. So I can't remember his name either. Who are you talking about? What about you? When you were, what was the biggest crowd you wrestled in?
Jesse Delgado.
Okay.
Oh, okay. They're trying to get Jesse Delgado out here.
Yeah.
That man's
He's tough.
the truth.
There's
a lot of big name collegiate wrestlers right now who we're in talks with that it's more like waiting for them to say, yes, I'm 100% committed. Like some of the names are pretty fucking big names out there, and you're just like, all right, guys, like if you're ready, let's go. But
For sure.
there seems to be more wrestlers now are transitioning over to MMA than before. Obviously, there's more opportunity now. Do you think it's talked about it in that community more now? Of like, hey, you have other options than just wrestle, but hopefully be one of the 18 in the Olympics. Like,
Yeah.
how's the culture changed from when you started?
I think a lot of people are getting into wrestling now for MMA, right? Or maybe they think that is like like you said, the best option after college if they're not trying to chase a senior level team or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like working both ways too now. The rise of MMA has made more people want to wrestle. I just saw nationally there was like a high for like high school wrestlers participating, and then there's more room for the purist wrestlers to transition into MMA. So they're kind of like helping each other, which is why I'm glad Fight Pass is like getting into the college wrestling game. The match they had in the barn, our friend Devin Schroeder, we wrestled with him at Purdue. He was actually one of the coaches for that. So it's cool, like seeing all our boys get coverage and things like that.
Hey, shout out to Walker Van Way, man. Walker is he's a big advocate for you guys. He's a massive advocate for wrestling, and I think for you guys, if you could put into just a few words, like what did wrestling do for you as a kid?
For me, I think wrestling kind of did everything, right? I'm not supposed to be where I'm at right now. I mentioned already I wrestled for a Beat the Treats program. I'm not supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to go to college. I wasn't supposed to do any of this stuff, and wrestling really did all that for me. I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be doing something else. Man, still probably fighting, but not
unscrupulous shit in the street somewhere.
Yeah.
Shout out Columbus.
What are some of the biggest lessons you learned in wrestling?
Go ahead, Jay.
Well,
Oh, man. Sorry, my bad. This is his interview. I didn't want to.
it's you guys.
We had Kyle on here, but
Yeah.
we want to hear both of them.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. No, wrestling has taught us about hard work, obviously. Like, if you want something and it's just you versus another man, it's going to come down to who did more, who was more disciplined, who's been at it longer. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like, I make this joke all the time to like people get into combat sports now and they think this shit's like an anime, or they think it's like let's like never back down. Like I'm gonna train hard for a month and then I'm gonna get the win. For real life don't work that way. And I learned
all and squeeze as hard as I can.
I learned that in college wrestling. Like I got 50 other state champs in my weight class, D1. Like if I don't do everything I can, they're gonna beat my ass. Fighting's the same way. You're not gonna do a month hard training camp and beat anybody for real. You gotta live this shit.
Yeah, I believe as far as, owning my own MMA gyms, we focus on wrestling. Like the majority of our team comes from wrestling. I 1,000% believe that nothing teaches you like hard work and grit better than wrestling.
Yeah.
So if you have a kid who's in middle school, high school, however early you can get them in it, find a place for them to wrestle.
I agree.
And now you guys have a club, right? At a war. Like talk about it. This is awesome.
So Kyle and I run a wrestling program out of War. If you're in the Houston area, you need to be stopping through and getting some work in with us. But we train all year round. We do folk style, freestyle, Greco-Roman wrestling, and obviously, we've got the experience to be doing that stuff. Unfortunately, in Houston, wrestling's not really big, or in Texas, it's not really big.
Right.
And so there's a lot of people right now that kind of are like, oh, I'm so and so, I did this in wrestling, and it's either everybody that I know as a kid did that in wrestling, right? Or B,
right.
It's not true, and that's actually what you run into more than anything down here is like they're just kind of making claims that they did this, that, and the next thing in wrestling, and then they're paying big name wrestlers to come down here and do camps for them. But the only reason that those big name wrestlers are coming down here is because they're getting paid to do it.
Yeah, I've noticed especially in Texas, there is a large number of clubs that pop up. The club is basically dad giving his kid a reason and people to come in and wrestle with his kid. As soon as his kid's done, that club disappears. And so all those other kids don't have like that access anymore. Right. And so that's one of the things we're looking at, opening a club further out in Richmond where we're at, because there's just nothing for these high school wrestlers.
You know how to wrestle?
Oh, very, very poorly. Very, very poorly. Right? Is this it? Is this it here?
Y'all been in some of the biggest wrestling rooms. Like, obviously, when like the wrestling coaches in there, how do they look at MMA? Do they encourage it, or are they looking at it like, man, you focus on wrestling, this shit's a distraction right now?
That sounds more like it. Right?
And my coach at Buffalo was the same way. Like, I'd hit the bag to cut weight sometimes. I showed some of the guys on the team how to hit mitts, and literally one day he's like, "We're damn wrestlers." He took the punching bag. Like, that dude was.
So these coaches and stuff didn't know y'all were gonna make that transition.
I swear to you. So this coach, like,
when you're in the UFC, they're gonna be like, damn.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's how it usually is.
This coach got me a D1 coaching offer. So it was like how it works kind of unless you're like an Olympic champion or something and you want to transition into coaching in MMA, you got to be either a volunteer assistant or a student assistant. And he got me an opportunity to be a student assistant at George Mason, which is a D1 school. So I could have been a D1 coach, and he literally word for word told me, "You don't need to mess around with that shit. You need to start coaching right away and get in the door." And I was like, dude, I started wrestling to be an MMA fighter. Like, you got me backwards, and now I'm doing everything I'm doing.
And I think that coaching opportunity will still exist.
Yeah, for sure.
And before we get too far past it, where can people learn more about you guys' wrestling club?
On either one of our Instagrams, look up Kyle Todrank, look up James Ford. We'll have, I think we both have a video on our Instagram. That's
details everything.
Yeah, details everything. It talks about War Training Center. But feel free to reach us out.
While we're on the topic, I say the biggest thing for a wrestling club is, or any like club in general, is look for credentials. Me and James have the credentials. Like, we wrestle at the next level. No, he's a black belt.
Don't come to mine. Don't come to mine, because I was like, "Listen, guys, this is what we're gonna do. We're going out to war today."
That shit's going to the back of my truck for driving now.
I can get us in, guys. All right, I can get us in.
That's messed up, man.
That's fucking awesome, though.
Yeah, I'm not dumb.
We got the credentials to get you to the next level. We have 2 kids going D1 this year.
That's
Kyle
awesome.
Lou going to Little Rock. They were in the Pac-12. I think they're moving. And Jackson Herman going to Illinois. That's the Big Ten. That's like the SEC for football. The Big Ten's as big as you can get. So we're producing kids, and we have the credentials. So that's come to us. Come on, Steph.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of wrestling clubs in general in the area. We have a small one out of one of our Arcadia gyms with Coach Mario out of Cobra Kai. So they're based out of one of my gyms. They look exactly alike. One's a tall blonde guy, one's a shorter black guy. So yeah, that's pretty much the exact same thing. I'm gonna jerk this fucking thing off as much as I want, Diego. Do you see this? I'm working the shaft. I'm working the balls. We're gonna get the juice out. It's gonna go everywhere.
He's a pro.
Yeah, he's a pro. Just close your eyes or look straight ahead.
I told you can hear.
Hey,
It sounds like it's got fucking Astroglide on.
So you guys train out of war with some absolute like killers. We just announced we're bringing back one of the top killers out of war. That'll murder Mr. Murder Murphy.
It's what's crazy is like I hit him up yesterday and he was waiting on a bare knuckle FC contract.
Yeah.
He said, "Man, these fuckers still haven't sent my contract." He said, "If they don't send it, I'm signing y'all's." I said, "Okay."
Yeah,
and then like within a few hours, she's like, "Man, send a contract."
Yeah.
And like I said, "All right," I was already laying down. I said, "I'll send it in the morning," and I sent it, and literally within 20 minutes,
You saw that?
Bo Bowman sent it right back.
That man's the real deal. That man's the real deal.
Man. He's the real deal. He's fighting at 170.
Oh shit!
And you guys have that's a crazy room of killers.
Yeah, Mike is any weight class, anywhere, any type of guy.
BMF, real BMF motherfucker. Actually, funny story about that, man. We were all out in Colorado and Denver last year. We were on that card in April, and we were all cutting weight. So I think that we went up to the top of one of the mountains so we could get adjusted to the elevation. We're like out there, sweats, plastics, all that stuff on. We're like, working out. We're wrapping up our workout, and these dudes walk past with their girl, and they're like, Yeah, they were out of. They were not on this planet. I'll tell you that much. They were not here. But they walked up to us and they were like talking about being MMA fighters or being fans of MMA anyways, right? And they were like, oh, like dude was like holding his hands up. He's like, hit my hands. Like, I'll hold the combos for you. And Mike was kind of like looked at him and was like, listen, man, like
You better get the hell out of
He was
here.
like, you don't want to get the hell out of my face right now. And the guy was like, nah, man, like trust me, like I got you, bro. Like I can hold pads for you. And obviously it's me, Kyle, Copley, and Mike at this
They
point.
probably would have beat up Copley.
So
They probably would have beat up Copley.
we're doing bodyguard security for Copley, and we're protecting Copley so he doesn't get kidnapped.
I got you. Right.
And,
Son.
and Mike is talking to this dude, and Mike's getting progressively pissed. And Mike's a real cool dude. But he will light you up if you piss him off. And the guy eventually walks away. Like it got to the point where this dude was so far out of there. The two people he was walking with just left him, and they left him with some wolves. They left him with some wolves.
The dude had the snake bite piercings too. And just to let you know how Mike thinks, he goes, first thing I was going to do was aim for that snake bite piercing right there. Yeah, he's crazy.
Can you imagine if Murphy hit you with a fucking bear face?
No.
No.
But the biggest question,
I don't want to.
the most important question I have from that moment, when you went to protect Adam, did you grab him or did he slide his hand into yours?
He kind of did the jump like this, where he wrapped his legs around both of us and tried to pull both of us in.
And he covered nipple.
He had the sound on.
I can't wait till he gets his receipts on you guys. It's gonna be funny.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
hey, is there a wrestling move called bow and arrow?
Yeah.
So, and there's a twister, obviously.
Yeah.
Can the bow and arrow be pulled off in an MMA fight?
It wouldn't really be useful.
No.
Somebody might tap, but they would have to be like.
it would be pretty.
Yeah.
It would be pretty like.
So it would almost be like a. What were we offering?
It's like
Boston Crab.
like a Boston crab kind of.
Nah, not even. It's a lot easier. No, it's a lot easier to hit.
So we're not paying out for a.
Yeah. I wouldn't give nobody no money for.
So you hit the twister.
Yeah.
Obviously, why do you think more wrestlers ain't hit?
I actually have no idea. So in wrestling, they call it the guillotine. You grab their like collarbone and you keep that hand and then you fall back. It's illegal to lock your hands because then it becomes like it goes against the spine and becomes a submission. But I hit that in college in the room. Like Fight Pass posted that picture of me hitting it in the Purdue room. I hit it all the time. With gloves, you kind of got that like hook right there. It's even easier. So I have no idea why more wrestlers haven't hit it. But I know I did, and I know I got some stuff coming like off of it when they defend it and stuff like that. I've been working on some submissions.
You won this last one. You went head kick to like ninja choke.
Yeah.
And then you TKO the dude. But
Yeah.
it was a great win, but I feel like you wanted to do more than just that. And he was almost like upset that they stopped.
I don't know.
I know.
What? You also
A little confused.
You also sent him for a ride that not many people could pull off.
Yes.
Like I don't think if people realize how hard that actual throw is for the rest of the world.
Especially that dude.
Like that dude.
Nacho Libre.
It's really hard.
I love it.
There's this thing that happens every time James fights or wrestles or anything. There's this thing that happens where when he picks the guys up, their feet will reach for the ground, and when they can't feel the ground, you see this like look of panic in their face. That's my favorite part of James's fights is when they reach and they realize they're gone.
Yeah, man. They that guy. Hey, he was strong, man. He had a little pop to his punches, but no, I was excited for that throw. Like I said, I grew up wrestling a bunch. I have a coach who used to get pissed off at me and be like, "Okay, go throw the dummy." And he was an old Belarusian guy or Russian guy. Wrestled for like the Soviet School of Wrestling. He coached Belarus's Olympic team, all that good stuff. He used to get pissed at me because I was a little 14, 15-year-old shithead and be like, all right, go throw the dummy. And now I could probably throw somebody from almost anywhere.
Let me see.
The Thai ladies will be disappointed.
Obviously, like always, Rich is into wrestling. Yeah. Y'all come from a wrestling. Me and Wayne and Diego might not come from that wrestling background or be that interested in it. What are some ways like to get us interested in like collegiate wrestling, watching collegiate stuff? Where would we start if we wanted to start learning more shit about
I would say you got to watch who's exciting, the people that put up the most points. So I would say start watching some Big Ten wrestling on Big Ten Network during the wrestling season. Right now they're about to go to NCAAs. Is it this week or next weekend?
I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, next.
Oh, okay, 2 weeks. Okay,
So don't start out with the pros. Don't start out with pro wrestling.
Like WWE.
Hey, steel chairs only. Steel chairs only.
So,
Y'all
Kyle, can you swing a steel chair?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I've had a few experiences.
I'm not surprised.
Did y'all graduate from Purdue?
Buffalo and Ohio State.
Yeah, I graduated from Ohio State.
Y'all transferred out.
Yeah. I did 3 years at Purdue, and then I was out of there. I went to Ohio State, and I finished up there. I wanted to wrestle there. It didn't work out, so I was just training at the RTC and just doing some stuff with my coaches in my club that I grew up with.
When you look back at like your collegiate career, clearly we all have things that we look back and go, I maybe could have done this a little differently. You know, like, are there things that stand out to you guys that like, hey, maybe I was a shithead, or maybe I should have been a shithead in this situation? Like,
I think for me, I was a little bit of a shithead, and I think that there were other things that went on too.
See the grin that just comes across his face. There's stories just right there.
I was a little bit of a shithead. I think I probably picked a school that wasn't great for me off the jump. I probably shouldn't have gone to Ohio State right away. Yeah. And figured out what I could have done there. I grew up kind of wrestling in that wrestling room at the RTC practices with a bunch of the All-Americans, the national champ dudes from there. So yeah, for me, I probably could have picked a different school, been a little bit smarter, but that like you said is a story of its own.
Top shithead moment.
Yeah.
And go.
Oh no! Did I tell a story about the bike? About the bike with the lock?
Come on, man.
All right, so our freshman year,
you guys both look bad here.
our freshman
Story brought to you by Live Oak, Texas Vodka.
Live Oak, Texas.
There we go.
Right here. Bike story. So we're coming back our freshman year. So we didn't live in dorms with all the other students our freshman year. We lived in like little mock apartments, I would say. No. So I lived with somebody, and then he lived with two other dudes. We were all freshmen on the wrestling team.
It was a penthouse suite because he was like one of the top
It
guys.
pretty much was.
I'm reading between the lines here.
So they lived on like the third or fourth floor of these little apartment buildings, and they had like the little stairway to walk up, right, the little balcony and stuff. So we took this bike from the very bottom. It was me and this other dude. I took this bike from the very bottom. We took the bike with the lock and everything. I don't know if the lock was busted. Allegedly, it was allegedly again.
Right.
So we took this bike. We took it up to the top floor, and we hung the bike over the balcony from the lock. and happened to be that same night. Allegedly again, somebody was drinking, and there were 30 racks of beer in one of the rooms of one of the guys on the team, and it happened to be that the room that all the 30 racks were in, that door got left open, and there was a screen door and then a door, so you could see into the apartment, and the bike was hanging right here, and the screen door was right.
We all had to go to a college version of Alcoholics Anonymous for that.
Hey.
I wasn't even there.
Everybody except for me, because I didn't get caught.
Allegedly, he's the one who did
If
it.
I was there, allegedly, I probably wouldn't have done something like that.
I asked about weigh-ins the other day because I seen they were sitting there at the table, and I seen a lady order a couple beers, and they looked really good, and I seen James just like, he's looking at the beers at the table. I was like, man, you like to drink beers? Like, oh yeah. He goes all the way back to those college days.
I asked him after his last fight, whenever he came cage side to talk to us from his aid, we're trying to get him on the podcast. Like, do you drink? And he looked at me like, shit.
Yeah, he was already fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I turned around and he's sitting on the floor. I turned around and he's sitting on the floor smiling.
I was relaxed. I was trying not to get in the way of the camera.
And Kyle was standing up and he's like, oh, bro, he's fucked up.
No,
He's story in the bag.
So what was your guys' connection to Houston? Like, what brought you guys here?
My mom, I said in that post-fight speech, my mom and me were in college at the same time together. So she finished. She's a dietitian. She finished her like med school up at UTMB.
Yeah,
like
Galveston.
yeah, in Galveston.
My wife went.
My neck of the woods.
Oh, nice. So yeah, my brother was already down here. He had an apartment, and he had an apartment, and I just moved in with him, and we built decks for like 6 months on this crew that he was on, and yeah, I just like hung out with my mom, stuff like that, and I found war. I was like, well, I wanted to do MMA, I might as well do it here. I'm stuck ever since. Never moved, became the wrestling coach. James went down like 6 months later.
Yeah, I think it was during COVID
He
that
moved
all
out
this has
to
happened. Yeah, he was down here, and it was like July. COVID had happened in March or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it was July 2020, and I forget what I was doing, but I was doing some bullshit. But Kyle, I was like talking to Kyle on the phone, and he was like, bro, you should come down and visit. And I happened to have some money at the time, and I was like, you know what? Like, flights are cheap because of COVID, right? I was like, I'm gonna fly down there and
A little
like
bit of that
see what's
leftover
up.
booster money.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But he was down here, and so I flew down here, and I trained, and I think that I worked out with, or I sparred Trevin, and he lit me up, and then I was like trying to take him down, and I was like, you know, doing wrestling and whatnot. But I really enjoyed like being down here and being around those guys, because again, like
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I trained with a lot of the top level guys in the country and in the world my entire life, pretty much. And then I went to college, and it wasn't really like that. The first school I went to the Ohio State RTC. I got a taste of that again, but then, you know, the academic and athletic side didn't really, you know, want to cooperate too much, so I didn't end up wrestling there. But yeah, I think that I wanted to see what it was like to wrestle or to train with high level guys again. I came down here, and I was like, man, this is fucking nice. Like,
How hard was it for you in college to be like an athlete and a student? Like, that can't be easy, right?
Oh man, at a school like Purdue's a rigorous school, man. They're like really big on their grading, on their testing, on their all that stuff. It's a really good engineering school. I wasn't down there for that, but it was difficult. I'll say I failed one class in college. I failed one class I think ever in my life. And it was the base level math class that they offer at Purdue University, and
It's like intro to math.
yeah, it was like an intro type class. I think it was like Calc 1 or something like that. But I failed the class, and in the preseason, so the first semester, obviously, in the preseason, we have every Friday morning, we would meet at 5:30 in the morning when we'd run the stadium,
Yeah.
and then we'd do buddy carries up the stadium, and then after that, we would go to do our morning lift. So I was doing that every Friday morning at 5:30. I had this math class at 9:30, and I probably showed up 5 times the entire semester to that math class. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You know, if you could give some advice to like some of these young kids, because you have a bunch of young kids, obviously, with your club. How do you tell them how do you find that balance to be able to not only like compete and be competitive, but also like have enough snap left in you to be able to get to class?
Yeah, so I would say one of the big things that that we preach right now to our kids, now that we have this experience that we have, is that kind of stuff will always be there, right? And somebody said that to me at one point in time, and I don't think I really took listened to them too well, right? But that stuff will always be there. There's always going to be parties to go to. There's always going to be, chicks to hang out with. You're in college, right? And if you're an athlete in college, like I had girls walk up to me in McDonald's at 4 a.m. Oh, you're so and so. You're on the wrestling team. You're in my such and such class.
Take her back and bang it out.
Yeah, allegedly.
Taking no McDonald's girls.
He was a good boy.
And your
once
butter Big Mac covered McDonald's tonight, so
and once that little lady finished cleaning up the fry machine, he was able to take her home.
not the employees, not the employees.
I'm
out there.
disappointed Rich didn't hit the jingle right there.
But
Fucking it. So we were talking about butt fucking while you were gone, and we were talking about
How great you were.
with a lot of dudes.
P breaks sponsored by Hollywood Whiskey.
So as you guys are going through your collegiate career, you're turning into MMA, you've come down and visited. Like, what made you decide to like stay? Like you got here, you got beat up by Trevin.
Yeah.
What did you do?
You had an afro, remember that?
Yeah, I did. The fur, I had the long hair.
I thought that he was
He was a little thicker too.
Heavyweight,
Heavyweight, 270, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that I really, I wasn't doing anything in my hometown, in Columbus.
Right.
I was gonna,
Family and everybody back there.
yeah. So I was gonna, how I personally think about it, I was gonna end up, somewhere I didn't want to be if I stayed there. So I came down here and I was like, listen, like, it was just a whole period in my life too, where like I dated a girl for hella long. I was like engaged to this girl, when we broke up. At the same time that I was like coming down to visit here, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I might as well do something, right? I'm not doing anything in my life right now. I'm partying every weekend and messing around, right? Not doing the right stuff with my life, and I might as well take this chance on me because I'm not going to get opportunities like this too many times in my life.
It's so hard. Most people, not even kids, most people don't have the maturity to realize of like, hey, what I'm doing right now isn't taking me down the right path.
Yep.
What ends up happening is you go down that path and time goes and you realize like, fuck, now I'm 30 and like I didn't do these things, and people don't see that you're stuck in that circle. You were stuck in that circle of like, hey, this is where I live. Now I'm not doing this anymore, so I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to date this girl. Now I'm not done wrestling. Now we're going to date. I'm going to get a job. Like I'm going to stay here.
It really was what it
That's
was
the path,
too.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just talk to that girl.
Nah.
No. I mean, do you ever think about it though? Because once you get to the UFC, you're gonna be like, this bitch wants me, right? What's gonna happen? And then you're not gonna have nobody. What you gonna do? You go back and mate it up and leave.
Hey.
That's how it goes.
What's that?
That's how. Is that not how it goes?
What's that Tony Romo quote? That Tony Romo has a quote where he says,
That's how it goes?
when I was a starting quarterback in college, I could pick any girl from any sorority I wanted, right?
Yeah.
When I became a starting quarterback in the NFL, I could look at a magazine and pick any supermodel I wanted.
Yeah, we're on that.
But you still might want to go get a little taste.
You don't want to go back and give her a little bit of
What the road?
Yeah.
Bro.
It's just a flex. It's just a flex.
Kill 'em with Success, sponsored by Live Oak Vodka.
There you go. So as you guys are progressing through your career, who do you look up to as far as
Anthony
either
Soccer.
current fighters or
You were gonna get
Bo
there.
Nickel.
We were gonna get there, man.
So you said Bo Nickel's your favorite wrestler. Okay, so who's your
But Larry, while we're on the Bo Nickel thing, how do y'all think he's doing? He's doing good in the UFC.
Good. Yeah,
He's
I
doing
agree.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hit on his success.
You think
I'm not gonna discredit anybody that's working hard to get what they want. I will discredit you if you're not showing up, not signing contracts.
Do you think he'll be a champ? Both. Will he be a UFC champ?
He's trying to no comment your ass.
I mean, you have to have feelings about that.
Yeah.
I think he's tough.
In time.
I think that and I'm not saying this without I have room to grow. I think he's got a lot of room to grow,
Sure.
which is cool, right?
He's young enough.
He's young. He's got 10 more years in this game, maybe. If everything goes well, God willing. But yeah, I'm not sure if he'll be a champ with the skill set he has right now.
I think he'll be a champ one day.
One day.
I think
see
he
that.
could
I
be
could see
a
it.
UFC champ one day.
I think what everybody has to see is that adversity and going through the fire. And I'm sure there's been a number of times he's done that in his wrestling career. When you're getting hit, when you're getting kneed, things like that. Is it the same? Are you the same? I think he has all the capabilities to be the champ. I think he has all the right people backing him and pushing him to be the champ. To be the champ, even Hamzat Chimaev, everybody thought he was like a Terminator. Sure. And Gilbert Burns put hands on him, and you got to see okay, he can withstand that and keep fighting and keep doing everything he's doing. You haven't really seen Bo Nickel tested in a long time.
It's really hard for me to discredit Bo because I'm such a believer in what wrestling creates.
Yeah.
So that when we talk about adversity, I mean, let's be fair. He's probably had more adversity in the training room than other people will ever come across in life.
100%.
And imagine how hard it is though for a promoter to have built that guy's career, try to build that guy's career and get him to the next level. You see, when we're trying to match y'all,
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
how many no's we
Yeah,
get,
it's difficult.
So for Bo, being in a situation where guys are really saying no.
The only thing that changes is that when guys have performance like Kassar did. Like Kassar's performance, I mean, it didn't blow anybody away.
Then straight fear into the heart.
It didn't. Now that's not to say he couldn't eventually.
Right.
But I will say, to your credit, first person, even before he fought, you're like, I'll fight him now. Like,
I was trying to make the pro debut against the guy. Right. When I saw that he signed with Fury, I messaged Copley. And I think I messaged you too. But I was trying to fight him then. So I think that me personally, I'm trying to fight the best in the world, and just to kind of go along with what we're talking about with Bo, right? Is guys like us, guys like that guy, right? We have to be ready, training wise, to fight the best guys in the world, because that's what we're gonna get. And if we're not getting the best guys in the world, we're gonna get, somebody that's trying to knock our block off because they want what we have, right? Which, credit to them. Like the last guy I fought last weekend, wanted to take my head off. He wasn't there to get his ass beat, right? He's there to fight.
Your first exchange, he cracked you a little bit.
Yeah. I did smile. I smiled because I was like, oh man, okay, like we're not an actual fight. Yeah, like this is what I want to do this for. I don't want somebody that wants to like fall over for me because they think that I have this name or that name. Right?
Dude, I will say,
I don't.
Your jab to double A against Cage, fucking beautiful.
Thank you. I'll work on that one.
So like I try to tell wrestlers this, and like I'm a dumb dummy. So at my school, we teach like a handful of things. Mm-hmm. We just do them really well. Change your level, throw your punch, step forward and run through the motherfucker. You're like,
hey, you did somebody in the face. They're like this now.
Yes.
Their legs are wide open. They're there. Just take them.
Dude, it looked great, and you are starting to lie to everybody now because you're a fucking problem to match. And I'll tell you this why, because people see your wrestling and they're like, fuck, that goes in the fuck bucket over here. Yeah. They both have big wrestling fuck buckets in your shirt. And we get this all the time. I reach out to people. The rat mouth. Well, in Colorado, you started spamming head kicks against that kid. And I remember us talking. We were like, all right, well, if this is how he's going to fight now, that's fun. That's really fucking fun. And then you come out in this fight against a striker, like the Jacob Berry. Jacob Berry's a grappler. Hey, look.
Yeah.
And I heard there was a comment someone put.
What about the tattoo thing?
He's not the tattoo.
Yeah.
Hey, tattoo thing. What's that, King?
I'll tell you this will be.
I'm 11.
This will be funny, and you guys will like this. So during the fight, Ronnie Byerly, Kimura Tattoo Company, awesome, amazing sponsors for us. The guys does great.
Shout out to those guys.
So Jacob Berry had been getting some work done from him already, and Ronnie texted me during the match. He's like, "Hey man, it would be kind of cool if he won." Like for him to win if he finished or something. He wasn't saying anything against you. He was like, it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Dude, you head kicked to choke, and he goes, oh, the irony. It was awesome. And going back to the comments, someone wrote, I read the comments because I have to get rid of them when they're stupid.
Yeah. Don't get rid of mine. I think mine are funny.
Somebody wrote something along the lines of like, it was a lucky kick.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't throw lucky kicks. You have to step in and throw the kick with timing and determination. And dude, that was beautiful.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right,
striker versus grappler, who's who?
So some people are wrestlers, some people are fighters. Me and James are conquerors, all right? We didn't start wrestling at 5 years old with our dads, like, helping us and coaching us and things like that. Like, everything me and him have got, we've gotten it out of the dirt. We've got it damn near for ourselves. There's been a lot of people to help, but we got it damn near for ourselves. Like, I've been told people I had 50-plus karate point sparring bouts. I did it as a little kid. We traveled and did it. Like, I didn't miss competitions. I have in my notes for my fight plan, and I posted it, a little clip of it on Instagram.
I saw that.
Yeah. I said this is going to be a good opportunity to showcase my kick arsenal. And I said, I think I can win the bouncing exchanges. And we were both sitting there bouncing, and I threw my jab. He tried to slip the jab right into that head kick. It was not lucky. Leon Edwards did it. TJ Dillashaw's done it. Yeah. I've thrown that kick no less than 1,000 times on the bag. I knew that I knew that they were gonna train as hard as they could to stop my wrestling. I knew that he was gonna do a 6-week camp of wrestling defense. I knew all these things were gonna happen. I had envisioned all this in my head. That everybody's talking about the head kick. I don't know if you guys saw the up elbow.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Jeremy had drilled that probably 100 times. When I landed, I saw his eyes go back. And yeah,
So you also landed 3 or 4, whether you call them teep or push kicks, straight to the face.
Yeah.
As I got a few pictures of one.
in his chest. And
He's talking all that shit. You kicked it. Wait, so we were having a conversation, and y'all seen the Boondocks, right? You see the Steve Wiener episode? He said, he said, you was talking all that good shit a second ago. Now you got kicked in your chest. Hey, just know that Kyle's a better person than me, because I was going to post a video of that.
So did anything, to go back to your fight, did anything surprise, like, Jacob seemed to be relatively strong.
Yeah.
Like
He's not a prospect in
and was exchange
featherweight division.
It's hard to say exchanging wrestling because it's not really a wrestling match in that moment.
Yeah.
But would anything surprise you during the few times you guys were punched together?
No, not at all. I also had in that same game plan, let him work hard and tire himself out.
Yep.
I knew that the first round he was going to sprawl and squeeze like as hard as he could. You can only maintain that for so long. And if you saw me, even though I went down to my hips a few times, I always recovered my shots. I was trying to hit ducks. I was trying to hit peek outs. I was trying to flow position to position. You don't get tired when you do that. You're just thinking about the next position. When you're like squeezing for life, I knew he was going to get tired. And Jeremy said to me after the fight, he said, there's no way he could have done that for 15 minutes. And he couldn't have. But it wasn't even my game plan to wrestle him. I literally wanted to show my kick arsenal. The first thing that I threw was an oblique, and I caved his knee in with it. If you guys go back and watch that, he tried to throw something out of the gate, and I caved his knee in with an oblique. And I think that set the tone for the rest of the fight, what I needed to do.
Anybody that spends a few minutes listening to you talk about this knows how calculated that was.
Yeah.
There's nothing lucky about
Not at
anything you do. It is very cerebral. It's very calculated.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool with your last 2 performances. We talk about Eric and I spent a lot of time bragging to each other basically about our roster, and it's a problem and a good problem.
You got to know one.
Yeah, like we're going back and forth, and we're like, okay, because so we try to forecast everything out, and it's forecast of like how many fights will I actually have Kyle, how many fights will I actually have you, and then we go through. Well, this is what it takes to get them to contenders. This is what it takes to get them to the UFC if they don't go through contenders. This is what it takes if they just get a bunch of knockouts. This is what it takes if they just have decisions. So there's all these like parameters that line up to be able to get you where you want to go. And by far, I think it's true, our 145 division may be the scariest in the nation, especially when you start looking at people with like, let's say under 5 fights.
Yeah.
Because if you look at right now, you've got obviously yourself leading the way. Jacob Berry's no punk either up there. Like he can scrap. Then you got Joe Hendershot, you got Damon Aronde just turning pro, Josh Thomas, you can toss Aliman in that mix,
Eduardo Tejada.
Eduardo Tejada, all these guys who were under 5 fights, Gilbert Miller, all those guys. So that guy. Yeah. So we have all these crazies, and then you go and you look at other divisions. We don't have a stacked 205 division, but what we have is a monster at the top of the 205
Hey,
division.
the king, the undisputed champ.
in guys for you.
Yeah. Hey, how I think about it personally is I'm the champ. I'm the Fury 205-pound champ as a pro, right?
Yeah.
And anybody that they're bringing in to fight me is, somebody that they're bringing in to fight me, right? Like.
So when you guys aren't smashing faces, tossing people around, and kicking obliques, what do you guys do when you're not training?
Drink beer.
Drink beer.
James does long walks on the beach.
I do long walks on the beach. I like that.
Galveston Beach?
I just don't touch my feet in the water. I read about the fecal matter.
Do you guys have any like go-to spots, like favorite food in town, favorite restaurants you guys hit up? You frequent?
What's your favorite thing to eat?
Fuego tacos.
Shoot. I got a lot of favorites. My homie Brandon's got Fries and Drinks. Is a food truck downtown, right? I fuck with them. I mess with them. But I like a lot of food, so I'm a big food connoisseur. Yeah, I like. Shoot, yes.
I like brisket.
All of this.
I like brisket.
I'm a brisket guy.
Hey, we got to take him out to our spot in Tom Bar.
Yeah, where we eating after? Where are we eating after this?
Hey, they're not a paid sponsor. We're not saying their name on
Who's
here.
that paid sponsor?
I don't know, but we're not saying their name.
Barbecue spot. I'll ball that I like. It's pretty good.
And they for what they charge, they could be a sponsor. They could, you know.
Wait, you gonna eat after this?
Bexer.
Bexer's? You gonna eat after this?
Bexer dog ball.
You want to go to
beep
Tom?
this part out.
You guys live close to that way, I guess, right? Y'all are in Cypress area?
Nah, we're in LaPorte by Silver Beach.
You guys live in the port tonight.
We're moving now. We actually have a viewing on a apartment. And
Shout out Labrador. I got an uncle who lives down there.
LaPorte, love it. Yeah,
We love
that's where we live at. We drive there. We drive to work.
Mayor
4 or 5 days
Shore
a week.
Acres.
Yeah, that's why. That's
Y'all have a
why-
viewing where? In Tombos?
Yeah, Top Bar Spring.
So y'all are moving closer to
Yeah.
like 15
Makes more sense.
Hey, just know, these fights have been impressive so far. When we're training every day at the gym, 15 minutes from the gym, it's about to get ugly for you
You guys only train once a month.
That's right. That's right.
So what brings a better feeling to you right now? Watching one of your high school students compete, and see them win, or watching your partner win?
All my kids are about to find out that I'm a piece of shit. I like mine better.
I like winning for sure. Mine doesn't matter how I like talk to myself throughout fight camp, but when I talk to myself when I'm about to get in the cage, I feel like my win is like and it never actually is this way, right? But I feel like my win is predetermined, right? Like I'm supposed to win when I get out there and when I prepare the way that I prepare, when I do the things that I do. I get more nervous watching him fight. I get more nervous watching our kids that we coach wrestle, right? Like that's what I'm nervous for. When it comes to me fighting, I'm like, all right, let's do this. I've been doing this my whole life. I've been in worse situations than fighting somebody for 15 minutes in a cage. They're locked in there with me. That's kind of crazy.
Just to let everybody know how crazy and locked in me and James get, we were in the parking lot about to come in before the fights. James said, I saw this Attila the Hun quote that said if God wanted him to win, he wouldn't have sent us.
Yeah, that's a gangster ass quote.
It's crazy.
I really do be getting. I get a little too crazy sometimes. Shit.
Man,
Allegedly.
I get to walk. We don't get to walk around a whole lot before the fights, but I do try to visit the locker rooms. We generally try to go for the rules meeting, say a little blah 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 something before the fights, and it's always interesting for me to just kind of observe how everyone feels before a fight. Some guys are just super locked in. Some guys are just bullshitting. You've got other guys like Vic Gonzalez. Vic just sleeps. He just goes into the corner and just hangs out and sleeps. Everyone's different. Josh from our team, he has this written step by step. He does everything like a ritual. He does it over and over. So everyone does their own way. And every time I see you guys, man, you guys are super professional, ready to go. It doesn't seem to be an exertion of stupid energy, walking around cursing and yelling and being pissed off for no reason.
Yeah.
But the confidence you guys
The false bravado.
there's so much of that.
Yeah.
We see so much of that.
So
Especially at weigh-ins. Usually whenever the guy does the false bravado at weigh-ins, that's like a team.
I'm not gonna lie, when Buddy stuck the other dude at the face-off, I was like, oh, he's about to get his ass whooped. I thought he ended up winning, but
I thought it was a fucking. I was like, oh man, we're about to brawl in this.
I was just so glad.
I've never had a kid like that.
hey, we had that front row table too. I said, oh, does he need my help?
Come on, man.
I like that dude's hat too. Why did it help him out?
Yeah, it's shout out to Sean Moore for the weigh-in elbow.
Hey,
I do that, man. You can't. You can.
Yeah.
He's very lucky because we did have someone from the state there.
Yeah, they could have.
I was just
They could have
saying,
canceled.
hey, if I was in the cage, just one thing, but if you do it
Yeah, they
out
could've
at a
canceled.
restaurant
They
at
could've
weigh-ins,
canceled
that's an assault.
And I thought he was going to.
Not only that, what if you really hurt him? What if you knocked him out right there? Now he can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's always silly to me. I think that face-offs in general are kind of like kind of a silly thing to do.
You don't know how the other guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 'cause you never know how the other guy's going to feel. But also, we're about to fight, tomorrow in 12 hours and 18 hours, right? I don't need you to be a tough guy to my face right now. Like,
It's really
be
just
tough,
for promo.
Be tough in there.
That's all it is. It's for promotional.
You have to be able to
Show up,
marketing.
be professional, stare the other dude in the face, mean mug him a little bit.
Have you had guys who either try to take it too far on one end of like, you know, I'm this Billy badass, or versus the other direction where they're like, hey buddy, how's it going? Let's keep it hugging.
I think that me personally, I give off like the other direction, right? And I've had, I think it's one other fight or two other fights that I've had people kind of be like overly friendly to me. I feel like I try not to read into face-offs too much, but I feel like there's something to be said about that as well.
There can be for sure, yeah.
It depends on the guy too, right? Like not everybody, you know, a lot of people are just nice people, right? Which those are the scary ones.
I look for consistency.
Yeah.
If you're consistently the same person at face-off, then I know that's actually who you are.
Yeah.
Versus the guy who shows up and in one fight, and the next fight he's just calm and he's behind his back, like, well, no, you don't know. You're trying to figure out who you are right now, and man, to me, that's a lack of confidence.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When I see you, first of all, the fucking
the
hair,
Reaper.
bro. The hair,
Reaper.
The hair at face-offs. He takes the hair off, and there's like this one moment where he goes, and I'm like, is I fucking gay? What
Wait a minute.
Because Lou, because we're just feeling some kind of way. You guys got some beautiful
motion.
Thank you.
Hey, all homo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's 2024. It's okay. It's okay.
Listen, if you can't tell your boy he's got beautiful hair, who am I gonna tell?
Yeah, who would we tell?
Thank you. No, man, but like you have this level of intensity, and I'm sure it's like that's you, right?
Yeah.
Because clearly when you get into the cage, one of my favorite shots I posted the other day is just you tucked out. Yeah, dude, like in the go gorilla position, you know, I'm ready to get after it. Have you always been that? I don't know if stoic's the right word, but just ready.
I think that, like you said, there's like a false bravado that people do where they like scream. It's almost like you're like releasing something and you're getting that nervous energy out. For me, when we get to face-offs, I just like to look you in your pupils. Like I like to look you in your eyes and see what's behind it. And I'm not kidding you. Every fight that I've had, there's been like two where the person like really looked me back and like I could see in their soul like they were ready to fight and that they wanted that. And all the rest of my fights, they've kind of like wilted or made a joke or looked away or something like that. And it, like in my head, maybe I'm reading too much into it or whatever. But like, when exactly when I see it, I'm really like, yeah, I got this, dude. He even Jacob, I knew he was gonna say something. I didn't know what he was gonna say, but I took my tooth out because a lot of people don't know my front tooth is fake and it comes in and out. So when he made a joke,
Pop it out there. Pop it out.
What's the deal?
Yeah, I got it knocked out in college wrestling. So I knew he was going to say something, so I just kind of popped it out real quick. And when he said it, I like smiled at him. I seen him look down and he just freaked out. Like, oh my God. He said it earlier.
Everything is calculated.
Every step of this, I'm calculated. I'm thinking about what they did. I'm trying to get ahead of what they did. Like, don't post what you do on Instagram because I'm finding it and I'm exposing it. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't really talk a lot of shit on Instagram, but you do respond.
Yeah.
Like you guys will respond.
Yeah.
I think that's like the funniest part, right? Obviously, talking shit doesn't win you fights. Like, and I personally have a feeling that like talking shit to somebody before a fight almost works the opposite way sometimes, right? And I'd never want that to be me, so that's also kind of why I don't talk shit before fights. But I think that talking shit after the fight or talking shit, you know, as a response is well warranted and very funny.
I think your interview after your last fight was perfect.
Yeah.
I think it walked the lines of nothing you said was not true.
Yeah.
Hey, like stop saying you're gonna
facts.
Yeah, you know, like hey, and I loved it, man. I think like those moments, you need more of that. I think when I look like I need to see more of that, which only comes from just keep smashing and winning, and you'll have
June 10th or June 14th. When is it? June 16th. June 16th. Cash it again.
Hey, with that interview, Fight Pass posted it.
Oh yeah, I got a guy.
Fight Pass.
Oh
posted
no, I think we got somebody, right?
Yeah, you'll be good.
Fight Pass posted his interview, and it kind of sparked like a mini
They put it on IG or Twitter.
Put it on Twitter.
And it
Well,
kinda-
wrestling Twitter boys got
I was gonna
into
say it sparked like a little MMA Twitter versus wrestling Twitter thing, because you saw all these like wrestling Penn State fanboys like,
Penn State Mike 88.
yeah, Kassar would smoke that dude, and then you saw like literally like 5
tell him to
MMA
show
accounts
up.
saying James Ford would smash this guy.
Is that who you want next?
That's who I'm open to fight. I know that he texted me. We exchanged some text messages back and forth over IG, but he told me that he wants to take a little bit of a break from the sport. Me personally, I feel like
Breaking news.
Yeah, I'm not going to be around long enough. That's part of why I said, you want to retire. I'm not going to be around long enough for you to take a little, sabbatical and then me come back and fight you, right?
James is the type of guy that can be 5-0 with 5 finishes as well, and we could put him on Contender Series.
Yeah,
I think honestly,
That'll take long.
and I'm sorry,
I
Kyle,
agree.
when I say this, your division makes it a lot easier to go.
It's a lot different. It's a lot different.
Yeah, your division,
I had
you're
a
gonna have some scraps. Like,
But you got 2 finishes already.
yeah.
yes,
And it's a lot easier for us to sell that when they see, damn, this dude's got.
Yeah, if Kyle keeps rattling off finishes, 5-0 is still.
Selling you that 5-0 with 5 finishes is better
magnificent
than
ones.
a 10-0 with
8.
9 decisions.
Yeah.
Me, Alex Morano, and Copley got in an argument about this 2 weeks before my fight, like them versus me. And I was like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, I'm going this year. Like, I'm going to go 5-0. I'm going to go.
finishing?
Yeah.
I would say
And they both kept telling me, like, no, like, that's just not how it works. And I said, I don't care how it works. Like, I'm not anybody.
I will
That's
say
why
this.
I called for Mick afterwards, not to, like, get the call.
runs your division.
Yeah, okay.
runs yours and Mick.
I did call that. Yeah.
Still call me.
Yeah, the only reason I called him out was because he saw my smoker debut 4 years ago, and I knew he like might remember.
Hey,
me or whatever.
Make hit me up.
Yeah, I just wanted to call for that to like put myself on their radar. You know what I mean? Like I said, tell me what to do this year for you guys, and I'll make that happen. I'll do it.
I'll be 100% honest right now, and this is not a shot at anybody. Alex Morano, amazing legend.
Legend,
Houston legend by far. His path of getting to the UFC was different than everybody else.
Yes.
He's been in for how many fights now? 20. Like it'd be
Veteran.
Alex is, veteran.
Adam is looking at it as a coach who has gotten some guys, up there to go as well. I'll tell you, there's only a handful of people who are speaking almost every day to Sean and Mick and asking, like, we asked her a question, hey, what does Todrank need to do? We already know at 2-0 where you need to go. We know where you need to go. And it comes because our job is to put you in the UFC.
Right.
That's our job.
Yeah.
Our job is not for you to, would it be cool for you to be the Fury champion? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got to keep it here until 10-0.
Is that the goal?
I'm already the Fury champ.
Is that not at all? Like that's not our goal. Our goal is to get you out of here. We want to see you go away. And so like we are constantly asking. Not only does what does fighter A need to do, what does fighter B need to do, but we know exactly what a fighter needs to do in order to go to contenders or get a call up.
And get them finishes.
That's it.
Get them finishes.
That's the first thing they ask is.
Yeah.
Finish fight.
I think a lot about when Zach fought on Contender Series and
Yeah.
Dana White got on the mic and said 6-0 with 6 first-round finishes, get up here.
Yep.
Like, it wasn't even a question. And
Yeah.
That's another Fury product.
yeah, another Fury product, right? And one of our training partners.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and to me, like, that kind of, took me and put me in a spot in my head where I'm like, all right, like, I know that my weight class isn't a weight class where I need to be, you
Right.
know, 7-0, 10-0, whatever. I can be, I see 5-0, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. I want to try and get 4 this year. I want to get 1 more, hopefully Kassar. If not, we got somebody, 1 more in June, then 1, September, October. Let's get it. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, I get our job's to get you guys there. So like we're gonna put you guys in the situation to where that we also, one thing that we believe in and is different from other promoters, we believe you got to be tested here.
Yeah.
Right? Because as Mick has said, and the great Saul Solis said, man, if you can't beat the guy in front of you here in your region, you're not going to beat anybody in the UFC.
He's asking for Anthony Kassar, so We know these guys ain't looking for.
I don't want no easy fights. I don't want no easy
I'm
fights.
talking about like fighters in general. When I say that, like our job.
Follow our example. Don't be the contrary. Be like us.
You guys don't.
Why do you think these other guys are picking and choosing?
I know for the wrestling community specifically, a lot of them feel entitled. Like they've been wrestling since they were 5 years old.
Would you say they're spoon-fed wrestlers?
Yeah. There you go. Hit up.
Shout out to my boy Del Fuego.
No, but a lot of people they think they're like this like star, and college wrestling you can become a star, but how big of one can you really be? Bo Nickel had 50,000 followers before the UFC. He has 500,000 now. It's like how big of a star can you really be from wrestling? So it's like what these dudes think they deserve versus what they actually deserve. Me and James came into this with the attitude like we want to be in the UFC, we want to be world champs. We might as well fight black belt world champions, which we've done. We might as well fight Muay Thai national champions, which I just did. And it's like if I can knock him out with a head kick, I can go to the UFC and do that same thing and produce the same results.
Yeah.
And a big part of the reason I said like I'll be the yes man for the UFC and I've been the yes man for Fury is because I know how many opportunities people get off of like a missed weigh-in or a dude rolls his ankle 2 days before and they need somebody like me and James are the type of motherfuckers to pull up and fight you the week of.
I mean, look at Van. Josh Van just got another fight.
Yeah.
Late notice.
Yeah.
But here he is already. He's not even a year. He's gonna have 4 fights in his first year. You know who did that and made himself a millionaire? Kevin Holland.
And Kevin Holland. Yeah.
Kevin Holland, like right away.
Shoot. I'll name drop one more time, but I messaged Kassar on Friday and I said, listen, man, you can show up on Sunday. Like, I'm sure you can get yourself out here, show up on Sunday. I won't fight this other dude. I'll fight you. And he just liked the message. I mean, that was the extent of that. So
I think, not to discredit Anthony. I think he could have a great future.
Yeah, man, sky's the limit for him.
But it does sound like some of the things that he's telling you are maybe smart, because we've said some things where like, hey man, maybe after your last performance, you should spend 6 months just boxing somewhere.
It's like when your grandma says, God bless them.
There's a difference, I think, when you look at you two guys. You don't look like you guys who look you can wrestle, but you can fight.
Yeah.
And that is a difference.
I went on a podcast last week and they were kind of talking about, the guy I was talking to was kind of talking to me about me wrestling versus me striking and when I'm going to show more striking. And I was like, listen, like, and I'll say it here too, right? You got to get past level 1. Right. You can't get past the thing that you know that I'm going to do. I don't think that you really deserve to see level 2.
That reminds me of one of your fights as an amateur. I forget the kid's name, and I don't want to bring him up. Yeah, he missed weight. And he got.
I mean, you can't if you
We got super.
I used to know puppy.
I remember the guy was super frustrated during the fight because you wouldn't let him stand.
Yeah.
And you told him like, you don't deserve to stand with me. You don't deserve.
Well, here's the thing.
Why am I into the table and for him? And he's like, let's do it bang, bro. Let's do it bang. She couldn't even make weight. You don't deserve to stand up.
I've had 2 people, and he was not one of them. But I've had 2 people be able to stop my takedowns. The first one, I broke his orbital, and he had to take 6 months off the sport. And the second one, I slept with a head kick, and the canvas woke him up. So, I mean, if you can make it past my wrestling, I have other things for you.
Mic drop.
Hashtag gorilla kisses.
Hey, and just know we say yes. We don't say no. We don't think about it.
So do you have a fighter now? Like who's your favorite fighter? Who's your favorite fighter to watch?
That's like current?
Sure. Current, old, past, dead, whatever.
Ooh, I don't know.
Gay,
I don't know. Call it Todrank?
Okay.
Was that favorite fighter or gay?
Hold on.
Was that a
Catch weight pillow fight.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm a big Fedor guy.
I see that.
I feel like that suits my style a lot. I grew up watching Fedor. I think the first MMA fight I ever watched, and I probably said it 10 times this week talking to Kyle, but Fedor and Kevin Randleman was the first MMA fight I ever watched, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to do that. And I was in my friend's basement, and he had like a little punching bag up, and we were like throwing kicks and throwing like these shitty little combos at the punching bag. Yeah.
Somebody made a comment, and I won't say who, out of my gym, that you remind them that if Daniel Cormier had grown into full size,
Yeah. Hey, that's 2018 at Purdue.
DC's go.
Yeah.
Dude, I love DC, man. Like, and I
have a lot of respect for DC.
I can see a lot of. I mean, listen, with the level of wrestling you've had and the type of wrestling, sure, there's some carryover and some similarities to the way you guys move and things you do. But listen, is it you could have a Hall of Fame career? Like we're like, who are we? Come on,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. See, here's a thought that I've had recently as well. I'm okay with comparisons, but just don't compare me to the young version of nobody that's not in the top 10 ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. So that's DC, that's Fedor, right? Like, don't compare me to the young version of nobody else.
Are you guys looking at?
Who's his favorite fighter? You didn't even let him answer.
He didn't answer it.
He said it's James Ford.
Threes, man.
He said it's James Ford.
I didn't stop him from answering it. Who you got, Kyle?
Arturo Gotti and Johnny Tapia. Yeah, those two are like, it's rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace to both of them. Those dudes are like, yeah. If you, yeah, if you watch them fight, it's gonna be a banger every time. That's why I love watching both those guys fight. Anderson Silva, John Jones, like some of the.
See, this is why you ask me. He names 9 fucking weeks.
Who's your favorite?
Yeah,
My Sakuraba.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah,
man.
by far. Who's your favorite fighter? Some Mexican?
I'm gonna have to go with Poirier. I like Dustin. Hey, I like Dustin.
Man, he slept that man.
Hey, I like guys like Dustin, Chandler, and Gaethje.
Yeah.
That's the fucking excitement
Jake,
that
who's
people want to see.
Not named Ling Ping.
Frank Jaeger.
Frank Jaeger.
One.
Okay. All right.
That's one.
Into his career.
Yeah, poor Frankie.
My favorite wrestler, Sting. No, man, no. Favorite MMA fighter? Damn, dude. There's so many, and you know me. I'll like go through the whole gambit. I'll show credit to everybody, but if I've got to pick one,
Jacob Still?
yes,
Not hard, eh?
James Ford.
fun.
GSP from let the man speak.
My fellow Hall of Famer, Jacob Silva.
Okay, all right.
Derek failed me out on
He's
this.
there. Okay,
So now you've said obviously you would love to fight Kasardax.
Yeah.
Is there somebody that you want to fight next? Is there a name that you've seen flash across here as talk about that you're like, I'd like to fight him?
Whoever you guys think would put me in position to get to where I need to go, line me up against some. I'll put him down. Yeah.
This is who's going to accept that.
Yeah. It's not about who we want to fight. It's about who says yes. It's about who says yes.
Get harder.
People want to fight 0-5 Billy Bob to get to the UFC. Ain't happening.
Yeah, you know what sense does that make to try and pad your record to make it to the most elite competition?
You want to get embarrassed up there or not?
I mean, exactly. You're gonna get exposed, right?
I've never seen him fight.
He just fought Gunner.
Okay.
This piss break brought to you by Howlerhead Whiskey.
No, this was brought to you by Live Oak. Oh, Live Vodka.
Live Oak Vodka. Well, we had chosen match. I actually just met with Eduardo on that. But Anaya's another featherweight.
All right, so James is going.
So you got Zach Hinson at Eduardo Anaya?
Me and James.
That's gonna be a good
195 next week belt. Let's go.
Let's grab it.
Hey, so you've got? Do you have a ton of training partners?
Yeah.
You train with who stands out as far as like someone we should look forward to coming up? I know you got some young kids.
Oh, you already know. So Cam Fontenot, me and him, this training camp.
Fontenot.
You know better than me, man. You get the
Rich Burmaster with the name butcher.
I know. He's one of my best friends too. We just went to the 50 Cent concert. But me and Cam, we did a bet this training camp the last 8 weeks, $2 a takedown. So you get 2 takedowns in a practice, you're up $4 to 0. There was probably 50 takedowns between the two of us, and it ended in $0. It literally ended in $0. So like Cam, I say all the time, has some of the best like upper body takedown defense in the game. And he also has crazy hands and will flood you and things like that. So yeah, I would say Cam is definitely the person to watch for on the up and up. Jose Sandoval, he's done some kickboxing with some of the highest level people in the city. He actually went over to Crew Bob for a little bit, but he wrestles with me and James now. I know he's kind of like the Jay Alteretti age, but he'll be one to look up coming up in the ranks in the next few years for sure.
Love it. Love to see it. Did you watch the fights this weekend? So Jacob, no, Jacob, ask your second question.
What did I say?
He's had a fucking seven question.
Yeah.
Ever been to a theory live event?
Never mind. No, so I do have a question as far as someone that is not a professional athlete.
What mic are you talking into?
You don't matter. It don't matter.
Producer name.
As far as someone that's not competing or anything like that, wanting to get into fitness, would wrestling be? I mean, would it be beneficial, or is it, or will be out of sync as far as everybody else?
Wrestling's terrible for fitness, right?
No, what I was saying, yeah.
I get what you're getting at. There's a lot of people, they're like jiu-jitsu enthusiasts. We even had one guy come in to literally get in shape and just lose weight so he could compete in jiu-jitsu and make the weight class. I think there's this common misconception when you come into a wrestling room, it is going to be mostly high school kids and things like that. But I think it is for everybody, and I think it is like one of the best ways to get in shape. It's like swimming. You're using every muscle in your body to wrestle somebody, to pull, push, etc. So yeah, if you want to get in shape, go wrestle. It's gonna make, I don't mean to sound like a dick when I say this, but it's gonna make jiu-jitsu easier, kickboxing easier, cause it's just a different pace. Like I said the last time I was on the podcast, it's like a 6 to 7 minute sprint versus like a 10-minute kind of trying to figure things out. So yeah, if you want to get in shape, wrestling for certain.
I mean, and once you've come in a wrestling room, you can come anywhere. Here you go.
Yeah, you
like
can
it's not just like just there.
Yeah.
On the mat.
Yeah, you come and go wherever you want.
Yeah. You can decide where you're going to come, on the feet, on the ground.
Pick up a magazine like James Ford.
That's right.
Pick one.
Pick one. Come get one. We're waiting on that though. Y'all got any sponsors? Anybody you want to thank?
Shout out to Forsyth CBD. Shout out Fries and Drinks and Morving Essentials.
Remedy Center, Ross Thomas CPA, and there's just one on the back. Movement Without Limits. Hang on, I got it right here.
Ron's dressed for this.
Ron's dressed for this.
And Home Shield Mortgage. Thank all you guys for sponsoring me, getting me through this camp healthy.
Shout out Hallerhead Whiskey.
Shout out to Hallerhead Whiskey, Live Oak Vodka. Make sure you go to our OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/Fury Fighting. Make sure you check out Kimura Tattoo Company, Space City Collector for the amazing kicks, as always, guys.
Todrank's got the force.
Sheath underwear. You got some old fours there. We need to upgrade them a little bit. But hey guys, it has been amazing to not just watch you guys as fighters, but as get to know you as people, and to see you guys coaching and what you're doing for the young kids coming up. It is an honor for us to be able to try and project your career even further from where you guys are going to go, and the heights of where you guys are going. Like, we can't even fathom it yet. Like, you guys have so much talent, and the way that you carry yourself is so perfect. I hope that other fighters in this sport just take a second to like acknowledge and look at what you two are doing and the way you're carrying yourself with, man. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Fury team.
Man, we appreciate y'all.
If there is a blueprint, it's these guys.
Is it right here?
Appreciate you, Wayne. Let's go.
So let's
go.
So Wayne, let's get our diffs out and then we'll do this.
All right. No. Guys, on that note, the time for talk is over. This has been Fury Unleashed.
And now, Houston, Texas, make some noise because the time for talk is over. It's time to